Hi there, doctor, and this is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass a TOEFL IBT. And I'm looking at your comment you made over at my website at onlinetoeflcourse.com. So you studied the TOEFL for 2 months, as you're saying here. You got 20 points in the speaking, you got 16 in the writing, and you need my help. All right. Okay, based on your email, I asked you for a little bit of clarification, and you've given me that. So your total score was 76 out of 120, with subtotal scores of 21 on reading, 19 on listening, 20 speaking, and 16 on writing. Your target score is 26 points on speaking, and then you need to get 63 cumulative on the rest of the test. That means that you need to get a total of 89. So here's the question. How long does it take to go from 76 to 89? How many months does that take? The problem here is it's the subtotal of 26 points is the one that's going to make it difficult for you. And also that score of 16 points in the writing. So I'm going to suggest right now my 3-month TOEFL study guide. I think the course is around $125 for 3 months. That's probably your best bet. I will put the link to the 3-month TOEFL course in these comments here at my website. And there might be one additional thing you might want to do. I have an additional service you might be interested in. It's what's called error correction of your writing, of your independent and integrated writing practice test. So if you do want some error correction, I do offer that as an additional service. You can find out more about that once you become one of my students. But I'll be honest with you, it's $50 every time I error correct one of your essays. It's not cheap. It takes me a lot of time, a lot of effort to look over the essay, to error correct it, to produce a video, to do the analysis and the diagnostic, to tell you exactly what all the writing issues are. The speaking I can do pretty quickly. In 4 to 6 minutes when you do a speaking practice test, I can tell you what your problems are, but writing is a lot more exhaustive. It takes quite a bit of time to do that. So that is an option. But for right now, let me just say this, doctor. I think the 3-month TOEFL course is probably your best bet. It's going to be tough. The hard part for you is to move up your speaking and writing subtotals to around 26 and 24 points. And that's going to take a lot of practice for you. To conclude this video, there's really 3 things you want to be doing right now. First of all, once you join my course, you want to start focusing on the lessons in this 3-month TOEFL course. My recommendation, I'm going to be honest, you got to have a lot of English you got to work on right now. So I'm going to say 3 or 4 hours every day. Number 2, meanwhile, get as much exposure to English as possible. So during the day, watch TV in English, listen to the radio in English, make sure that you're reading newspapers, magazines, and books in English. And most importantly, you're actually talking to native speakers on a day-to-day basis. So really focus on getting that exposure. And then number 3 is email me at mbuckoff@aol.com. You'll be sending me emails for various reasons. One is you'll be sending me your pronunciation and speaking practice so I can evaluate and provide feedback in those areas. And number 2, you'll be sending me your independent and integrated writing practice tests again so you can have those scored. And then maybe when you have questions, you'll also be sending me emails. So just remember my email, mbuckoff@aol.com. All right, doctors, so good luck to you. Remember that this is a methodical thing. You need to focus on these lessons every day, probably for 2 or 3 months, and especially to work on that speaking and the writing areas of your academic English language proficiency. All right?